Hi all, welcome to our YouTube channel. Welcome to the new playlist. So, on the occasion of New Year, we'll be starting with the new playlist on generative AI. Okay, so I think we have completed the PySpark playlist. Okay, the PySpark and SQL coding challenges playlist is ongoing, and we will continue to put the coding challenges questions, right? Important interview questions there on that series. Okay, then the Python playlist is in progress, Databricks playlist is in progress, and this new series we are launching. Okay, so in this new year, maybe at least for the next 4 to 5 months, we will continue with the Python playlist, the Databricks playlist, and the generative AI playlist. Okay, and we'll make sure we will complete the learnings in next, let's say, 4 to 5 months for all these three playlists. Okay, and the coding challenges, PySpark and SQL coding challenges, we will keep it ongoing, right? So I'm very happy to launch the very first video on this generative AI playlist. The name of playlist, I'll just write here. Okay, playlist name would be um, generative AI, right? Using LangChain. Okay. What is LangChain? What is generative AI? Everything we are going to learn. Okay, we are going to start from very basics, and then we are going to move to coding and advanced parts also, right? So expect in-depth concept, in-depth content here. Okay, the very first video will be starting with what is generative AI. Okay, so I think from last year or something we are hearing this term a lot, generative AI, and that is actually now happening in industries, right? Generative AI is getting used, okay, for many business use cases, and that is creating an importance along with the data engineering, right? So it is important to learn generative AI along with important data engineering tools and technologies like PySpark, SQL, Databricks, Data Factory, right? And other cloud tools also, right? Not only Azure Cloud, but other tools also, right? So in daily in daily use, right, we heard about chat gpt, copilot, DALL-E, bard, right? All these are examples of generative AI. Okay, but what is generative AI, right? Let's try to go into basics of generative AI. Okay, so let's say if I give you a simple definition, right? And generative AI, we call it Gen AI, right? Gen AI. So Gen AI, it is like is a type of AI or type of artificial intelligence, right? We call it artificial intelligence. Okay, that can create a new content, a new content, right? On its own, it can create a new content, right? Based on your requirement, it will create a new content on its own, right? And this content can be, it can be text. Okay, it can be stories, right? Let's say emails. Okay, or articles. Okay, or articles. It can be images, right? It will create images for you, like let's say any painting, or any photo for a product, right? Or let's say this YouTube channel is my product, is our product now, right? So we are using Gen AI to get the thumbnail images also, right? Then it can create audio, videos, right? Like music or voiceovers. Okay, it can generate code also, right? And I'm hopeful that you all, I think most of you so far have started using Gen AI for coding, right? Coding also, if you face any you know syntax error in your code, definitely you go to chat gpt or copilot, right? And you find out, you help, you take the assistance of Gen AI, all these tools, okay, to correct your syntax or generate a code that you are looking for, right? So simple definition again on Gen AI is, Gen AI is like it is the AI that can generate something new, right? Something new based on based on what it has learned in past, what it has learned in past, right? So basically, it will generate it from learning, right? It is like, see, the analogy is like the how we behave as a human, right? Any scenario or any circumstance we face as a human, right? We got some experience from our previous, living. Okay, for example, let's say someone is 25 years old from its college days, 4 years, 5 years in college, and then 3 to 4 years of experience, right? Whatever circumstances they are facing in their personal life or professional life, they take the decisions, right? So their brain generate the decisions based on what they have learned in the past, right? Same is the analogy with generative AI. Okay, that's why it is saying artificial intelligence, right? Definitely human has emotional touch, right? Human considers many factors while taking decisions, right? It takes help from many sources. It takes suggestions from, I mean, some humans are taking suggestions from their friends, their mentors, their family, right? Everyone. Okay, but the analogy is kind of similar, right? So a simple example I can give you, it is like, let's say, a chef, okay, chef who is preparing a food for us in the hotel, right? So, like if I ask them to prepare, let's say, some dish having, let's say, the veg, for example, veg biryani, right? So, if they prepare that today, right? If they eat by themselves, they'll find, right, something is missing or something can be improved. Based on that experience, they'll prepare the veg biryani tomorrow much better. Okay, so every time it will I mean chef will generate new results. Okay, in the same way generative AI is going to generate new results always. Just I'll show you one example, simple examples. I just played with that. Okay, this is chat gpt. Okay, and I asked chat gpt explain what is generative AI in 2 lines, right? The first definition it gave, generative AI is type of artificial intelligence that creates new content like text, images, audio, or code by learning patterns from existing data. It works like smart creator that predicts and produces output similar to what humans make, right? Again, I ask the same question. If you see, there is difference. Here it is saying generative AI is type of artificial intelligence. Here it is saying type of AI, right? That can create a new content like text, images, videos, or music. Here it is saying music by learning from existing data. Here it is saying learning from patterns. So it uses both patterns and existing data also. Okay. It is like a smart tool that imagines and generate things similar to what humans create. Right. So if we see this text that it has generated is not exactly same. Question is same. There is no difference in question. If you see, right, to this question we call it uh, okay, we call it the prompt that we are giving, right? So prompt or the question we are asking or the query we are asking is it's same, but the answer it is generating, it is always new. That's why we are saying it is generating a new content always, right, based on what it has learned. Okay. So generative AI has learned from large amount of data. Okay. Whenever we ask it a question, it doesn't copy exactly. So if you see, it has not copied this answer as it is here, right? It has every time it will generate new content, right? From data and patterns it has learned. Okay. Now, basically from where it is generating, right? Generate, we use gen AI, right? All these things we are getting, from where we are getting all these things. Okay, what is behind this? Definitely behind all these things is huge amount of data, right? Huge amount of, I would say, entire internet data. Okay, there is something designed behind the scenes to understand the patterns in the data. Okay, and to create the new content. Okay, so to do all these things we call it the brain. Okay, behind this, and we call it a large language model, right? Which is LLM. Okay, LLM is what? Large language model. Okay, now what is LLM? LLM is basically, you know, uh, it is huge model. Okay, huge model which learns every time from the huge data. I would say all the data on the internet. Okay, huge texts that it has got. Okay, it understands the data. Okay, and generate human readable text, right? That is LLM. It is huge model which learns every time from the huge data it has got. It understands the data, okay, and patterns, data and patterns, okay, and generates human readable text, okay, for us. Okay, now simple explanation is like, let's say LLM, we can consider it as computer, okay, having millions of books, articles, websites, everything it has, right? So it studies how words and sentences are used together, right? And when we ask a question, it uses what it has learned from all this data, right? All these data patterns, how all the words and sentences are used together, okay, and then it gives you answer which sounds natural to us, right? So why LLM? We will just see the three words, right? Large language. Okay. Why it is called large language model? Large is because it is trained, right? It is trained and on massive data. Okay. We can call entire internet data is used. Okay. Billions, trillions of words it has used. Okay. What is language? Language is because it is focused on text. Okay, like let's say reading, writing, right? You can ask, let's say you have some report, right? You can ask LLM to summarize that report for you, right? You can do translate also, right? Translation. Okay, that's why language. And model is like, it is like a mathematical system. Okay, it is like a mathematical system that captures the patterns in the language or text, right? It, if it finds some patterns, right, that job is done by the model. Okay, so what all things LLM can do, let's say LLM capabilities, if I okay, if I tell you, it answers the question. Okay, it answers the question, like this question I have asked, what is the generative AI, tell me in 2 lines. Okay, and it has given us the answer, so it has answered my question. It can summarize the text, right? Let's say what I can do is, let me give this text to Gen AI, right? Give this text to Gen AI and let's see what it does, right? Summarize the below text for me in very simple words, for example. Okay, and I'll give you this text that we have written. Okay, let's see what it is generating. Okay, is type of AI that creates new things on its own, like stories, email, images, code, or videos, right? So it has given some generate, it learns from old data and then makes new content similar to what humans create. So it has given me some summary. Okay, so it summarizes the text also. Okay, then translates. Okay, translates languages. Okay, it translates the languages also. Okay, because it has data of all the languages, almost all the languages, so it can translate from one language to another language for you, right? The next thing it does, it generates the content. Okay, it generates the content, right? And that thing, we call it as Gen AI. So what it generate, as I told you, stories, emails or codes, anything, right? Anything you want, it will generate for you. Okay. Then it classifies this text also, right? Text classification. Text classification, like let's say sentiment analysis. Let's say sentiment of some text is positive or negative. Okay, if something is spam detection also, right? Spam detection also it does. So these are the capabilities of LLM, and we know, like, we use chat gpt, google gemini, right? There are many examples of LLMs: chat gpt, google gemini, anthropic claude, right? Meta Llama, all these are LLMs, right? And we use them as virtual assistant, right? Okay. And generative AI is, let's say, a small branch of LLM. Okay. Now, why generative? Why generative AI is called as generative? I think we already have got the answer. But why it is called as generative is because it generate it generates new things always, right? It generates something new. That's why it is called generative AI. Okay. Earlier, the old AI is used to kind of just analyze. Okay. Um, it just used to analyze or answer. Now, I mean, the new AI, it is able to produce new material, right? And well, Gen AI use cases. For example, if I tell you on high level, what are the Gen AI use cases, right? Wherever it, or what all places it is used in education sector, it is used to, let's say, create notes, right? And concepts, explain concepts. Okay. In marketing sector, okay, it is used to generate social media posts, generate marketing social media posts, and let's say blogs also. Okay. And mm, then in e-commerce, what it does is it creates product descriptions also. Product descriptions. We can give generative AI the details. Okay. What product we are trying to create. Okay. And it can generate a wonderful product description for you. Okay. In coding, it generates and fixes generates and fixes the code. Okay. And for myself, see, make I make a mistake while using the when otherwise in pyspark, I always forget some bracket or something like that. Okay. And I gave it to Genai, just please fix this code for me, and it fixes, right? It fixed the code, right? And entertainment. Okay. In entertainment industry, it creates, right, music. Okay. Videos and audio, right? I think if you know, there is one, I would say, a web series that has come on what Hotstar, which is completely AI based. Just a second, I'll just search it. Web series on Hotstar, web series on Hotstar, fully AI based. Mahabharat, I think. Yes, yes. I think some 100 episodes of this series have got launched, right? And it is prepared fully using artificial intelligence, right? And GenAI is a part of it, right? So, see, it has touched so many areas in our lives, right? So that's why learning GenAI as a data engineer is very important, because we are creating, let's say, clean data, right? And if we apply Gen AI on that clean data, it is going to be very powerful, okay, for us as a career development also, and for users, for business users also. I'll give you a small example. Okay. Let's say you have one, let's say, delta table, right? Delta table in your lake house, right? I am not sure if you know about delta table, but you must know about lakehouse, because lakehouse I've explained in my recent videos in my databricks playlist, right? But delta, consider it as a table. You have one table in your lakehouse, right? You have some account ID, account, account holder name, account balance, okay, or something like that in that delta table. Now, if you can, let's say you are a business user, you don't know technical, but you want to find out the highest, a user who has maintained highest account balance in current month, for example, right? Let's say at the end of month on 31st or 30th, I want to find that user who has maintained the highest account balance, right? So see, SQL, if you write SQL or PySpark code, I can generate that. That is fine as a data engineer. But as a business user, if they only give the query, right, it will generate, or bring it will retrieve that answer from my data. Okay. And there is Genie, I think Genie AI in Databricks, which is developed for the same. Okay. So this part, I'm just giving you a brief. This part where we are providing our data to the LLM, we are taking help from LLM to get the results or get the answer from our provided data. It is called RAG. Okay, we are going to learn RAG in details in future, but I'm just giving you a simple explanation of RAG, retrieval augmented generation. Okay. And as I told you, for example, what are the models available in GenAI? There are a text model to generate the text. Okay, there are image models which creates images. There are audio models which creates audios, right? Video models, code models which helps with programming languages. So, if I write something here, right? Let's say if I ask, let's say generate, for example, simple code to um, read Python list as PySpark data frame. Okay. When I write this thing, right, this query is going to the coding model, okay, the code model behind the scenes, and that code model is giving me the output. This code model is giving me the answer, right? That's how it is working. Okay. And we are going to learn in depth how all these things work. We are going to code. Okay. We are going to hit LLMs using generative AI. Okay. We are going to, in the end, we will be preparing one simple project. Currently, I'm working on one of the projects in Gen AI. Okay. For one of the industry use case purpose, and we will go through one of the projects in the end after we learn all the concepts, right? But that is how, on a high level, generative AI looks like. Okay. It is simply, it is like, it is a machine, right? For example, if I tell you in simple language, it is, this is the machine. Okay. Let's say LLM. Okay. I'm let's say I am a user. Okay. Let's say I am a user. Okay. User. What I'm doing, I'm hitting my query, right? I'm hitting my query to LLM model. Okay. Hitting my query to this model, and in response, this LLM is giving me the answer. Okay. So this is giving me the answer. Okay. So what I'm doing here, let's say I'm hitting a query, or we call it as a prompt, right? Prompt engineering, you must have heard, right? I'm passing a prompt to LLM. Okay. And it is retrieving, it is giving me the um, result. Okay. You can call it a result, right? That's as simple as that. That is called generative AI. Okay. Fine. That's all for this video. I just wanted to create a new video. Give you an introduction, a simple introduction to Gen AI. Okay. In upcoming videos, we will see why Gen AI is required, what is the importance of Gen AI, what is LangChain. Okay. And then we'll start coding on LangChain. Also, what is LangChain and why LangChain is needed, right? In Gen AI world. Okay. And we'll start code using LangChain. Okay, and in I think next 4 to 5 months you will be proficient in LangChain, in RAG. Okay, we'll in the end we will pick up one use case and create a small, project also on GenAI using LangChain, right? But yeah, I think I'm very excited to start this one. Okay, this is something new which we are starting, and for us, we are running I think around four YouTube playlists together. The Python thing, which Akshay is recording, right? Gen AI and Databricks, which I have started. And in between, if we feel like we want to switch, right? If some area he feels he can explain good, he will pitch in, right? It is not that only he will continue one series or I'll continue one series. Wherever we feel that he or myself can explain better, we will pitch in and we will add videos from him also or my side also, right? That's how it is. You will get to learn from, I think, two people as of now. We'll see in future if someone else is interested, we'll try to include those also, right? But as of now, it is going to be very interesting for us also and for you also, right? Because we are also learning a lot. Okay, trying to deliver as much as we can, and I think you all are also responding very well, right? So I'm very excited for this series. I hope you all are also, right? And please expect the content in very simple language. If I know you all must might be new to this Gen AI world, to Databricks or anything, right? You have seen my past PySpark playlist, right? We are explaining in very simple language. So you don't need any prerequisite for this. Okay, we will make sure we complete the prerequisite also, and we will make sure you will understand everything. Whatever we are giving you, at least it will reach to you 90 to 95%. It should reach you, right? Fine. That's all from my side. Thank you so much for all your support and help, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.